Greetings. In today's video, I will share quotes from Ecce Homo by Friedrich Nietzsche. I made a book review video on Ecce Homo, and I'll post a link to that video in the description if you want to check it out. But today I will share quotes that particularly stood out from Ecce Homo and that I think really convey Nietzsche's ideas and message. So without further ado, let's read these quotes. Mankind itself has become mendacious and false down to its deepest instincts, to the point of worshipping the inverse values to those which alone could guarantee it prosperity, future, the exalted right to a future. Being sick is itself a kind of ressentiment. It is not morality that speaks thus, it is physiology that speaks thus. Ressentiment, born of weakness, to no one more harmful than to the weak man himself. In the opposite case, where a rich nature is the presupposition, a superfluous feeling to stay master of which is almost a proof of richness. War is another thing. I am by nature warlike. To attack is among my instincts. To be able to be an enemy, that perhaps presupposes a strong nature. It is in any event a condition of every strong nature. Truly, Zarathustra is a strong wind to all flatlands. And he offers this advice to his enemies and to all that spews and spits. Take care not to spit against the wind. Sit as little as possible. Credit no thought not born in the open air and while moving freely about, in which the muscles too do not hold a festival. Some are born posthumously. All one had to do was to revalue all values in order to hit the nail on the head with regard to me, instead of hitting my head with a nail. What one has no access to through experience, one has no ear for. One must never have spared oneself. Harshness must be among one's habits. Mankind is not of itself on the right path, that it is absolutely not divinely directed, that under precisely its holiest value concepts, rather the instinct of denial, of decay, the decadence instinct has seductively ruled. The question of the origin of moral values is therefore for me a question of the first rank, because it conditions the future of mankind. Hitherto, mankind has been in the worst hands, that it has been directed by the underprivileged, the cunningly revengeful, the so-called saints, these world calumniators and desecrators of man. When within an organism, the meanest organ neglects even to the slightest degree to assert with absolute certainty its self-preservation, indemnity for its expenditure of force, its egoism, the whole degenerates. The physiologist demands excision of the degenerate part. He denies any solidarity with it. He is far from pitying it. When one directs seriousness away from self-preservation, enhancement of bodily strength, when one makes of green sickness an ideal, of contempt for the body salvation of the soul, what else is it but a recipe for decadence? Loss of center of gravity, resistance to the natural instincts, in a word, selflessness, that has hitherto been called morality. With daybreak, I first took up the struggle against the morality of unselfing. It seems to us as if we have, as a reward, a yet undiscovered country before us whose boundaries none has ever seen, a land beyond all known lands and corners of the ideal. A world so overfull of the beautiful, strange, questionable, terrible, and divine, that our curiosity and our thirst for possession are both beside themselves, so that nothing can any longer satisfy us. My muscular agility has always been greatest when my creative power has flowed most abundantly. The body is inspired. If nothing got caught, I am not to blame. There were no fish. No one before me has known the right path, the ascending path. Only after me are there again hopes, tasks, prescribable paths of culture. I am dynamite. Hitherto the lie has been called truth. Revaluation of all values. This is my formula for an act of supreme coming to oneself on the part of mankind. For when truth steps into battle with the lie of millennia, we shall have convulsions, an earthquake spasm, a transposition of valley and mountain, such as has never been dreamed of. There will be wars such as there have never yet been on earth. At bottom, my expression immoralist involves two denials. I deny first a type of man who has hitherto counted as the highest, the good, the benevolent, beneficent. I deny secondly a kind of morality which has come to be accepted and to dominate as morality in itself, decadence morality, in more palpable terms, Christian morality. The overvaluation of goodness and benevolence by and large already counts with me as a consequence of decadence, as a symptom of weakness, as incompatible with an ascending and affirmative life. When a decadent species of man has risen to the rank of the highest species of man, this can happen only at the expense of its antithetical species, the species of man strong and certain of life. The species of man he delineates reality as it is. He is strong enough for it. He is not estranged from or entranced by it. He is reality itself. He still has all that is fearful and questionable in reality in him. Only thus can man possess greatness. It is the lack of nature, it is the utterly ghastly fact that anti-nature itself has received the highest honors as morality, and has hung over mankind as law, as categorical imperative, to blunder to this extent, not as an individual, not as a people, but as mankind. That one teaches that there is something unclean in the precondition of life, sexuality, that the evil principle is sought in that which is most profoundly necessary for prosperity, in strict selfishness. The very word is slanderous. That, on the other hand, one sees in the typical signs of decline and contradictoriness of instinct, in the selfless, in loss of center of gravity, in depersonalization and love of one's neighbor, lust for one's neighbor, the higher value. What am I saying? Value in itself. What? Could mankind itself be in decadence? Has it always been? What is certain is that it has been taught only decadence values as supreme values. The morality of unselfing is the morality of decline par excellence. The fact I am perishing translated into the imperative, you all shall perish, and not only into the imperative. This sole morality which has hitherto been taught, the morality of unselfing, betrays a will to the end. It denies the very foundations of life. Everything hitherto called truth is recognized as the most harmful, malicious, most subterranean form of the lie, the holy pretext of improving mankind as the cunning to suck out life itself and to make it anemic. Morality as vampirism. Finally, it is the most fearful in the concept of the good man, common cause made with everything weak, sick, ill-constructed, suffering from itself, all that which ought to perish, the law of selection crossed, an ideal made of opposition to the proud and well-constituted, to the affirmative man, to the man certain of the future and guaranteeing the future. The latter is henceforth called the evil man, and all this was believed in as morality. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like the video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. I plan to make more videos on Nietzsche, his books, and his ideas in the future, so make sure to stick around. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.